So today we are not really going to do the usual enterprise, the usual SOIB training. Today we are definitely going to do something new, but first we need to check a few things out to ensure that we are live. Meanwhile, let me know where you're watching from, and what are your thoughts in regards to creation. So I'll take a minute. Unfortunately, today we ran out of power. So what I was preparing earlier on was something related to creation, something related to how do I put it? Something related to editing. But unfortunately, that's gone. So what do we do today? Today I figured out, as this is something new. We can definitely talk about creation, and that's like my journey in YouTube. I was even thinking of something else. I was thinking of something interesting. I was thinking of maybe even reading a book, but I was like, no, it's I'm too tired for a Saturday afternoon. Read a book, but maybe a book would have been a good idea. Know where you're watching from and what are you expecting. Going to talk about entrepreneur talk. We've put it on hold until maybe next week or further notice. Today I was interested to reflect on my journey as a creator. Incidentally, if there's something I've come to love, if there's something that I've come to enjoy, it has to be YouTube creations. And it's quite unfortunate that by the time I was going live, the power just went off. I wanted to focus more on behind the scene. So, assuming you want to create content, you want to share what you know, because technically that's what YouTube is about, or maybe TikTok or any other social media platform. So, where do we start? So, for us, and when I mean for us, I mean what I do because I represent a company. I started by just a simple idea. One day I was just seated behind this desk and I was like, you know what? I think I should just start creating. It was very scary because that's like 2 years ago, 2.5. Imagine sitting behind this desk and you have no idea how to create, and you also have zero subscribers. I have no idea why we keep like making subscribers to be like a very big thing, but I think it's because of the adrenaline. And then just one day decided, you know what, let's do it. And here we are today. And when you look at those numbers, you're like, wow, it's been a very interesting journey, a very interesting process. And I really hope by the moment we might be like ending this vlog, or I'll show you the tricks behind the scenes. So let me know where you're watching from. Um, if you have any question in regards to creation, otherwise I'll just be dripping in and possibly. I don't know why. There's this amazing book here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's possible I should flip my camera so you got to see it. It's a very amazing book. You see that? The Lean Startup. And this is written by amazing gentleman. This is Eric Ries. And when I think of creation, I still think the same way we tend to think as an entrepreneur, because as an entrepreneur, you always start from that point of unknown. The same case as a creator. When you decide, like today, you want to create something, then you are definitely starting from the point of unknown. And you start by churning out like small information. One day you're talking about this, the next day you're talking about this. But eventually, um, if you hang long enough, eventually you get to validate your lean ideas, and this is on the content creation. So if you are joining right now, honestly, guys, I'm trying to connect the dots between the Lean Startup, which is an amazing book that I really love, with my journey as a creator. You can see from like the topic, and I'm trying to think, assuming, because this is a question most people have been asking me, um, you want to start sharing your knowledge. Where do you start? Just go the lean way. Start with the small bits of information that you know. Whether you're a business person or you're not, if you are in corporate, it's still okay. But the beginning, it has to be that small, very incisive steps. Good to see you. Hello, Mr. Good to see you. It has to be that incisive step you take early on, or what we call leap of faith. And the more I think about it, the more I'm incredibly happy that I ever started. Now, let me know. I'll try to create something. It's only that also very funny, Misto, is that I cannot even access my monitor. So forgive me, guys. I can't even type. So my screen, we have no power. I know I had created like this stream to show you behind the scenes on the editing and everything, but yeah, that's what it is. I'm curious, for those in this stream, how many of you would love to read a book sometimes in the future, if not today? I have a lot of books. Um, and funny bit is, reading a book can become a content. But now, when you're thinking of how you create, then you be like, okay, if you read a book, then what's going to be the impact of reading that book? If your thought is to share with people, then what's that? And that's the whole thing of why we started the Afri Farmer channel. So it's not, I know when we started, it was always about sharing the poultry journey. Uh, you'll get to showcase the farm. But then along the way, the audience kept evolving. There are people like Miss Anita, who is in this stream, and she's an entrepreneur and should keep asking diverse questions, ranging not from the poultry side, but on the entrepreneurship. And yeah, good to see you, Patricia. Is that a good pronunciation? Please let me know. Peace. Good to join the conversation. I kept asking, if we are going to create this content, what is going to be the impact? So it's the same case way. So like today, I'm not talking about entrepreneurship, but please let me hold just this book, because if you are interested, I'll read. I promise you. Let me know if you are interested, guys. I'll read few pages, because with no screen, I cannot edit. I wanted to show you how I edit my videos um, using this amazing software. And the funny bit is, I've also had to learn. Hello, Inferno 9173. Inferno sounds like fire. You must be a very fiery person. Like a lot of fear. I mean, not fear, like fiery should be more of a drive, right? Good to have you, and thanks for joining the stream. So I'm thinking, what do I do today, guys? I'm supposed to go live. We don't have power. And I love sharing because we started this journey. So I thought, maybe let me talk about my journey as a YouTube creator. Maybe you're in this stream and you might be interested to know uh, where to start. Yeah, I should definitely create Q&A. Good to see you, Mr. Mate. It's always a pleasure, and I hope it's making a lot of sense. I know you're one of the people who are waiting to land on the editing, and I'm so sorry. Uh, we have currently power blackout. So, guys, let me know. I'll read few pages later on for this book, so I'll hold it. So, borrowing on these lessons from the lean startup, think as a creator, starting small. Because most of us here, even in this stream, we have a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. But then most of the times, think about it this way, is when we go home, is when some of us even die. I know most people don't want to talk about that conversation. And someone said the richest place in the earth is the graveyard, simply because there's so many ideas, there are so many thoughts that these people who went there when their time was there, they didn't share. So it's always also my challenge is I know not all of us can be like creators, but if you are someone of an expert, something I would love to challenge you this Saturday afternoon. Journey of creation, journey of sharing what you know. Because what this journey for me has, it's it has literally opened so many doors than it could have. I remember 2 years ago when I started, I was literally behind this chair actually. I wish my profile picture is still there, which is of the same tea. And I was looking very intimidated. And I was like, hey guys, welcome to my live, not it wasn't even live stream. Welcome to AfriFarmer channel. And if you looked me in the eyes, you could see the fear because I was even unsure of what to say. And as if that was not enough, I recorded my first conversation with this portrait. And remember those times we were not even doing a live stream. Then you'll come later to understand if you record your videos in a vertical like this, and then you want to edit in horizontal, it becomes very hard. And I had no idea. So I kept going to this person who had knowledge in editing, and I would ask a lot of questions like, hey, I need to edit my videos. I need to learn. And at that moment, remember, I cannot pay. I cannot pay for someone to edit my videos because, guys, my stream is still very young and small, and we're just starting. And all of these guys were so helpful, and I'm so grateful. And that's why I keep saying, if you're unsure of something when you start your journey in creation, start to ask questions, start to look to the right people. Don't be afraid to ask the question. Don't be afraid. And I kept going again and again asking these people, hi, how can I be able to learn? And it was so difficult, especially my first ever software I ever learned was Adobe Premiere Pro. And then it kept crashing my laptop. By that moment, I think I was using HP15, something to do with Core i5. And the more I edited, the more it crashed. And the more it was so hard to understand. But I still kept going. So eventually, I started with scrappy videos. I still make a lot of scrappy videos today. In final, yeah, you're from India. Nice to meet you. Yeah, thanks so much. Welcome. And I can see there are a few Kenyans in the stream as well. So it's good to see the conversation going from Miss Duo to Mesa Festas, Mateo, a very good mentor and friend to AfriFarmer. So welcome to the stream, Infano. What do you do? I'll be interested to know. And it's a Saturday afternoon. What are you guys doing? Uh, yeah, what are you guys doing and what's going on in what you're doing? So for here, we're just talking about this whole journey of creation and reflecting it back in reference to this amazing book, which I still say I'm going to read it. For those people who will be in this live for the last 5 minutes, I don't know, there's this amazing book for lean startup. I also have this one, which is very good. This is like Sapiens. So let me just show you guys. It's a very good book. This was actually a gift. Yuval Noah Harari, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. So I'm curious, guys. So if I was to read a book today, just 1 or 2 pages, would you prefer this book by Yuval? Obviously, you never finish it, but if you keep coming on this stream every day, you'll find something bit. You prefer Sapiens by Noah Harari, or would you prefer The Lean Startup by Eric Ries? This is a business book, while this is, I don't want to call it like divine. This is like, how do I put it? More of a brief history of humankind. Where did we come from? And how the evolution happened. Let me know in that. So meanwhile, I'll still maintain this because I'm still a business person. And I know in case you're getting confused, please don't get confused. I know we usually speak entrepreneurship in this stream, but today is on Saturday. So no business, no class session. Today we are trying to be more human. And I love reading books, obviously, but we're just focusing on the journey of creation. And it's good to have you guys here in this live stream. I really appreciate it. So the idea started, and I will keep deviating. So I'll not lose you. Something else which I've been learning in this whole story of YouTube creation is storytelling. That is one thing I've learned is if you can master the art of, I'll not tell you about hooks, but the art of telling your story from the beginning and able to connect it from the highs, the lows. It's like a loop. And then eventually able to create something. You already have a content. So personally, it's been like two to almost 3 years. And while it sounded easy, it's also very difficult because I remember the very first few months, maybe Mr. Mate, who is also my patron, my mentor, and a good friend here, who has supported me as an entrepreneur and as a friend, and say, I used to flood people's DM with, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Of course, I'm not telling you guys. Nowadays, I don't do that. I used to tell my friends, whoever cared to listen, my family members, like, hey, you need to subscribe. Because I felt, with less than 10 subscribers, there's always that urgency. And the funny bit about creation is today you start with zero number. And once you get the 10 that you wanted, you become a little bit more greedy and the number starts to excite you. Just like in business. That's why I still keep finding more correlation for this thing. And my very first achievement is when I reached 100 subscribers. It took me almost 3 months. Unbelievable. And you can imagine every week, I'll create at least one video or 2 videos, and most of them were all on the farm, poultry production. By that moment, we didn't even have the other units like hatchery or run with it. Or even streams like this one for business and even on personal level on reading books, amazing books like these ones. And I kept going. I was not really sure if I would grow because 6 months is such a, I mean, 3 months is such a long time to get to 100 subs. And the next handle was like 500 subs. But how did I grow? Because that's where it matters. You see, for most people, they will be like, today I want to start content creation. Today I want to start sharing my insight, but how do I grow in it? For me, I feel one bit which was very key for that is the art of consistency. Because you can imagine every day, regardless of what it was, shoot videos. So remember, this is a guy who had no idea what editing was. So other than bothering that the first guy, of course, he he couldn't teach everything. So I also had to learn from YouTube. And other than also learning how to edit from the YouTube itself, I also started this journey with my mobile phone. It's actually here. I think this is the phone I was using. It's very funny. Nowadays I don't use it because funny story is I don't know if you guys you can see. You see it that way, that crack here. I got this dent story time when I was shooting one of my content, and the mobile phone fell down. It for me it was like, oh my god, what am I going to do? But you can imagine creating content with a mobile phone, which you don't have an idea how even to shoot these vlogs because obviously you know the best. So it's more about planning. And I noticed something. Every day as I would shoot, every day as I would learn, every day as I would edit, my skills continued to be better. I learned the art of storytelling. I remember one of my favorite subscribers who is also in this stream telling me like, "Oh my God, I love your storytelling, so good." And that moment I was like, "Oh my God, this is so good," because that is like the first validation is Sinek. I mean, I keep confusing Simon Sinek and Eric Ries. They all sound the same, but they're different authors. That was the first validation. But I noticed the more I create, the more I became better. And my biggest flex 1 year later on was I got 1,000 subscribers. You can't believe it, man. 1,000 subscribers for me, I was on the moon. That to me, that was like I had convinced 1,000 people for the first time in my life that they should listen to me. So the same case with you. Um, the first 10 subscribers are going to be hard because obviously you keep creating and nobody's watching your work and you keep starting to feel degenerated or hopeless. The first 100 they will be fearing. I'm sorry, fear. I know you're in this stream, but it will be tough. If you got 10 was hard, 100 is even tougher. But once you hit that mark, you start growing. To get to 1,000 is even worse, is a nightmare. I remember kept on saying, guys, please roll to at 1,000. I can't believe I used to do those things. Nowadays I don't because I found the real joy is not even the numbers. I actually now enjoy having a small conversation with a stream like this, 4, 5, 6 people, or even 1 or 2 people. Why? Because creation is not just about the numbers. It's not how big your stream is, but how impactful your creation can be. And this is in terms of content. Because what happened is, the more I created, the more I had people saying, hey, you are inspiring me. You have given me ideas on how to do the A, B, and C. And the funny thing is, you share knowledge, and someone else ends up becoming better than you are because that's how it is. It's like when you go to class, it's like when you go to school, we have the teachers, we have the dons, and someone says, um, for a doctor to qualify, they'll need a teacher. But it doesn't mean necessarily a teacher is a great doctor. They're just great educators. And the funny thing will also happen with you. The more you share your stories, the more you share your journeys, the more impactful you become, the more influential to other people's lifestyle you become. And now, for me, if you ask me, the biggest joy I've had so far as a creator is that one person who who got the message, who got the insight, and they were like, you know what? I needed to listen to this. I needed to watch this. I needed to hear this. And that's where the real impact is. Now, today, I'm so grateful because I think we are on a roll to, by the end of the year, we are hoping to do a stream of around, and this is a very funny discussion we're having with my girlfriend. And it was very fiery. I keep telling her, like, hey, I still feel I'll be okay to hit a stream of 4,400 by December. So currently we are like 4,352 subscribers, which I'm so grateful because I can't believe, like, 2 years, 2.5 years, we have more than 4,000 subscribers. Unbelievable. Imagining the small channel like this, what we create, it's not really much, guys. I see you, Mr. Mate. You're saying, allow me, guys, to go back to what he's saying. Um, Yeah, sure. Etanita, Miss Njuguna is a guru of entrepreneurship, a perfect mentor and a coach. Wow, thank you so much. I can't believe, this is my mentor saying this. And this is someone who I have high value for and who has shaped my journey as an entrepreneur. So thank you so much, sir. And I don't take this for granted. I really appreciate it. I'm just learning because what is life if you cannot share what you know? What is life if you cannot give? While I may not give you money because I'm still not yet a very successful entrepreneur, but this time next year, I'll be a millionaire. That one I have to tell you guys. That's what I believe. But what I can give you now, it's the knowledge, it's the insight, it's the downfall of what has been to create something from the scratch. And like a story time for this, what has taken me to create a small channel like Afri Farmer. So thank you so much, sir, for this. Because I still believe it's the journeys we have, the stories we share that shapes the community. So I also challenge you, if you're watching this and you have insight, maybe it's writing, write it down, share with people. Maybe it's a vlog like this. This one, unlike the editing, which I'll still come back, possibly tomorrow on Monday, once the power is back, I'll share how we edit. So if it's your first time, this one I'm not editing anything, just a live stream. Talk about it, share about it. You might never know who's listening, who is watching, and that's how you create the impact. Um, Someone is saying this is a need to do. Yeah, Inferno, you're replying to Inferno. You can give us a synopsis of each of us to choose one. Yeah, so the lean startup and the sapiens. I will definitely try to. Um, and then Mr. Fester says, sure, thank you so much for that. And then Yeah, he is a perfect mentor, trust me. He is. I'll still try. I keep saying I need to bring him on the stream as well because I feel knowledge should be shared. Knowledge should be shared. And at no given moment should you shy away because I'm an African, and unfortunately for us Africans is we have these mentalities whereby we feel like if I share what I know is going to dim my doors of success. And that's not the case, guys. The growth I've had on a personal level and as an entrepreneur, most of them have been significantly channeled by the aspect of sharing the little I know in terms of the knowledge, in terms of curiosity, and in terms of the people who have also shared. Because also myself, um, I'm a consumer of knowledge. So you can imagine if we are in a society whereby also other people don't share, it becomes very hard. We can't learn. So I hear you on that. So keep true on that, and I really appreciate guys for this insight. So back to story time creation. Your first 1,000 is gonna be hard, like hard. It almost drove me mad. And remember, guys, I say right now I don't really worry about the numbers per se, but when I was getting started, you get to have this kind of adrenaline rush. You're feeling like, I conquered 100. I got 500. I have to get 1,000. I have to. Because now YouTube, funny enough, is it's also a platform which you can partially make money. Well, for me, I don't do this to make money from YouTube because I mean, come on, I have a business which uh, at least generate some revenue. But also, YouTube makes me money. I remember there's a day I did not have enough rent. Sorry for another day. Yeah, as an entrepreneur, you can also be so broke because you're investing so much money. And YouTube did pay for my rent. So now you understand why that 1,000 at that moment was so. Once you start sharing this knowledge you create, the next bit you want is to monetize it because I feel there should be a reward, and it's a good thing that is always there. So that's why you hear people, and if you're joining this channel for the first time, I'm not really a YouTube growth channel, so it's just that I'm reflecting on my own journey as a creator. So that's why there was that rush. You need to be monetized, then you need to reach 4,000 watch hours. That was crazy because I remember reaching 4,000. I remember reaching 1,000 hours, and then reaching 4,000 hours was crazy. It was super, super crazy. But then for you guys, what can you do? So what I did was I started creating long format like content like this, which are very long, as opposed to like 4 or 5 minutes length of a content. And you'll see even the YouTube algorithm keep on changing. So it's like a Netflix documentary. You see what you create today, it has to grow. It has to evolve. So if someone is watching your content, um, they have to watch at least 1 or 2 minutes. Remember, it's like this live stream. Someone joins for a few seconds, then it's not what they're looking for. But then you want your audience when they watch, for example, the first few minutes, at least they can do 2 to 3 minutes minimum. And that's where growth happens. So I started to expand the line, but not really necessarily losing the focus. I just wanted to tell stories in a better, more relaxed manner. I was afraid that people might not watch. And I remember I actually made this video, which is for now is one of my highest grossing YouTube videos. It was almost like 18 or 20 minutes long. And I was like, who is going to watch this video? It's just so long and not really a lot of edits. But hey, people did show up, they watched. And today I think has more than, I think 30 or 36 or 35,000 streams. And I can't believe it did. So the same case with you. Once you start creating your whole journey is you'll need to figure out a strategy along the way. You'll need to figure out what is going to push your content to more people, what is going to pull them to come here, and eventually, what's going to help you to scale. Because all the time, all of us, we want to scale. And that's why I'm like, today, I'm so excited because I can't believe we've reached 4,000 people out there. That's a very huge gathering, come to think of it. But if you're a creator and you're in this stream and maybe you're just starting out now with 10 subs or 20 subs, you shouldn't feel afraid. You should reflect on that journey of what shaped where we are today and what can you do yourself and how can you be able to grow. Because I still strongly feel there is big opportunities in the creative economy. And this is also for the young people. Unfortunately, not all of us can be TikTokers in terms of dancing. If this is something I feel young people can tap, but the other bit is the aspect of authenticity, because you don't want to create because you have to create. It doesn't work that way. I've also come to learn that you have to create because you feel there is a need to create, and because you feel there is something inside you pulling you, the passion to create. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm thinking. And now I need a water break, guys. Just a minute as I try to think this through. Right? Let me know your thought, guys. So, if you are me through 2 years ago, would you have started the YouTube creation journey? I mean, you're comfortable as an entrepreneur. Would you do it given a chance? Or are you afraid of getting crickets? Because most of us, what's the funny bit is you can actually be in a live stream and you don't even know where the next audience is going to come. So you keep hearing crickets. And that's why I still say, God, creators are the most, I'm still trying to process the best word to use. Creators are the most, maybe strongest people I can think of, because tell me how that you make the content today and you show people will watch. And eventually they will watch. So I'll challenge you today. Just make one video. Don't even make it 5 minutes. Don't even make it 10 minutes. Make it at least how many minutes? Try to make it at least just a minute, guys. Robert, yes. Give me like is it okay if you give me like 15 minutes? That then I can be good. Meanwhile, you can get a box or do like the small brooder. Can be good. Huh? You've gone for them. Okay. They have sent the pay bill. They'll get started. Thanks. Sorry, guys. Story time. Just create even 1 minute. And don't even start with YouTube. Share it on your social media. Though I love YouTube because of all the places, I think this is the only place you'll not get cricket. So, how many of you will be willing to do that? Right? Someone said, I'd love to have a channel for my company. However, the fear of getting cricket is real. Yeah, I know. So, you realize what I've been talking all along, it's more personal. And I've not even gone deep into what creation has done for me. But the route that I actually used to miss through is my company. My company gave me the content. My company gave me a perfect opportunity to showcase what I do. And obviously, right now is now when I'm even sharing more because I kept saying, even when you have read the description for AfriFarmer, I kept saying, I want to share about poultry farming, business creations, feeds formulations, and entrepreneurship, which is part of business building. And for most people who know me, is I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship, but for this channel, by I don't know why, I never created like a real in-depth entrepreneurship content until now recently, because most of my vlogs were just based on normal today running of the farm. So creating content for your business, it's the way to go. It's even the easiest because um, I would presume you know all the ins and outs of your business. So it's just now to come and to now learn when you're doing that, what is the best way to tell more about it. That's how I see it, guys. That's how I see it. And that's how I see it. So it can be a good thing. But the fear of crickets, don't worry. You know, if 5 people clicked on your video, those are 5 people who decided, you're worth listening to. Do you know how hard it is in the real life to get like a gathering of 5 people to come listen to you? I know for us creators, even for me, it happens those days when now when I was growing, I kept saying, I think I need to get to 100. Because the truth is, even when you get subscribers, does not mean you also get bigger views. And that's why we're saying, guys, I'm super tired. I haven't slept like 24 hours. I should be sleeping very soon. But the issue is at that moment when you create, it's not really essential for that moment. It's like the future. You think your content is a granary, somewhere you store as a storage page, somewhere you store, because even most of the views which I've seen and the people I've reached, most of them are tens even today, they all come from the work which I did an year ago, not even recently. So it's the question of, can you have a continuous content? That's it. Can you have something going on that will keep churning? Because the pitfalls, and I'll say things, the pitfalls which I've seen for most creators, every time I go live or even I create, there are young people who reach out and say they want to create content. But then when you tell them the whole journey and what they are needed to do, eventually they just abandon the process. But then the question is, why do they find it hard? Because I'll tell you here, Creation is brutal. Maybe you guys don't know that. So every time you see my stream, come on, please just like it because content is brutal. You are putting yourself as vulnerable out there. And we also live in a society whereby if you don't have bigger views or if you don't have bigger likes, then someone will say you're still a flop. And that's why we call the cricket. But that shouldn't be the case. Remember when we said when you create, it's not about the numbers. Don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about the people. Because eventually people will come. Question is, can you be consistent enough to make them keep coming? And this takes me back to the young people who start it and along the way, especially YT can be brutal and they give up. Why? Because they lack one, consistency. And you can imagine for the last 2, 3 years, I've been making YouTube videos without a fail every week. I've never taken a break. And even today, I was like, oh my God, I need to go to sleep. But I'm like, I had a session live. You have to have this kind of crazy dedications. And for me, it's not hard because I'm coming from entrepreneurship side. So I know what it is like to wake up every day, to be driven by something bigger than you, higher calling. And for me, it's that impact, the aspect of sharing this insight, sharing this knowledge. You have also to find it within you, something that will keep you creating every day. And that's how you grow. I hope, Miss Stuo, you now understand. Don't fear the cricket. What you should fear is, do you have the agility? Do you have the spirit of showing up every day and creating and not getting worried? I keep saying this. Even if I created a content today and I have, well, there is no you'll ever get one view. Let's be realistic. So if I ever created a content and got 5 views, because you can get 5 views, will I create the next? Of course, I will create again and again and again. Why? Because by now we've learned it's not just about the numbers. Well, numbers are good, numbers are sweet, but it's never about the numbers. Because if you start creating and you're thinking about the numbers right now, it becomes hard for you. You never scale, right? So let me know what you guys think. Very soon I should be taking you to another stream, which should be ending, but I need to wind up on this one. So now, how many of you think that you can create content with not necessarily have outer motive of just having the numbers? Numbers are good. I love the numbers. I wish you can see me when I create a shot and I have like 1,000 views. I'm so excited. But after that, it's just it. That is it. For me, is if I create something like this, someone, one or two people listen to it and they can borrow from this journey and they can be able to know what is going to take them. Now, other than now the consistency, one thing I've also come is the aspect of being yourself. You know, you would want to create something to be someone else. And I learned it that the only way you can connect with people, the only way you can create genuine content, whether it's for your business, personal, or development, it's just being you. Just being you. If you are you, you'll never be able to be hard. But now the problem is, you'll find us that we keep trying to be someone else we are not. And the moment you do that, it becomes so hard for us to be able to maintain such a content. Because for me, I'll be comfortable to talk about entrepreneurship. I'll be comfortable to talk about books like this. Because this is me, this is what I do. But it will be so hard for me to try to crack jokes, be a comedian, or even try to sing. That's not me. But someone else is a singer. She'll be good or he'll be good. So, what I'm saying is, whatever you create something in your niche. Obviously, when you listen to all the YouTube growth gurus, you'll keep hearing the word niche down. But for me, niche down is just what you're good at, what you can drive value. Even the same case, and thanks guys for the love. Um, Even for most cases, even for me, even for the shots I create, I would never create even a single shot if when I listen to it has no value because you'll be chasing popularism. Popularism does not bring popularism does not bring the fulfillment. Hey, Drippy254, hi, how are you? How are you and where are you watching from? I was about to ask, how are you watching? Which is very crazy because obviously you're watching from the stream or your phone or or computer, right? Good to have you here. So, in whichever content you create, it has to be something of value, something that even yourself you would consume. I keep also saying this to one of my girls. Uh, I'm so fond of creating motivational shorts, and I realize sometimes even myself as an entrepreneur, I need motivation. But then I don't find enough motivations of what I need to hear, of what I need to get into my system. So what do? I also end up creating motivational videos for me. So I can just watch them and be fired up. Do you know how crazy that is? Because I also create value for me, not just for you guys. So once you create something, the big question now you ask yourself if it's something of value is, can you consume it yourself? And if you can consume it yourself, is what will you find? Will you get this fulfillment? And if you cannot, then there is some serious cases of not, I would not say call it genuine, but I'll say you are chasing the numbers. There's nothing wrong about the numbers because you learn. The more the number of subscribers you have, the more the numbers of viewers you have, the bigger the paycheck. But what's paycheck if you're not fulfilled? So I hope that really makes a lot of sense. Try to connect. Try to connect fulfillment when you're creating your content. Try to connect it with impact, and this is what other people feel, other people get based by listening to you, watching your content. And trust me, you will enjoy the next few years making content. I want to be making content even when I'm 50, when I'm even 60, when I'm even maybe 70 years old. Oh my God, if I'll be making content and I don't know if YouTube will still be there. But of course, you guys, I also write, so I still have my personal website whereby, and this is if you're interested, I blog and I write about entrepreneurship, crazy journeys, how to overcome some of the failures, and how not to fail, and also how to fail again. So you are sure about website can always be there. But if YouTube will still be there, I want to keep making this. Why? And I keep thinking, How big can we be, let's say, in 10 years, right? Imagine doing 10 solid years. Most people, if you go to YouTube right now, they know of Mr. Beast. This is Jimmy. And he's the most famous streamer. Not actually, he's not a streamer, he's a YouTuber. The most famous streamer right now is Aisha Speed. But these guys, when you also look at them, is where did they start? Those 10 years, 5 solid 7 years back when they were unknown. But 10 years later on, what happened? Yeah, they have most of them, they have become impactful because other than with obviously different kind of content they create, based on what they get, is they have created the impact. So this is just a way of telling you, it takes times to grow. So don't be in a hurry when you start your stream today, because you will grow. Even for me, by hopefully by December, and when we reach the double four number, that's like 4,400, I'll still maintain that. Just like in business, because I feel you don't overshoot. Sometimes you have to be realistic. But it has taken me almost 2 years to reach to that number. So the same case with you. If you are there, feel encouraged when you're starting your journey of streaming or making the YouTube content or sharing, irrespective of what you do. People will come. They say, build it. They will come. So, Drippy Master, please, please, please. I would hope to see your stream someday. I know you're amazing creator. You have ability to create beautiful music, connect sounds and harmonies. Try to show the world what you can do. Maybe that's how you get your first big client. That's how you make your first big break. Story time. For me, maybe one day, 5 years to come, I'll share how maybe I got my biggest break based because I share my journey and I create. Plus, I don't scam. Yeah, don't scam people once you start like creating channels, creating content. If I mention names, so we have this famous village somewhere. It's amazing village whereby we have a lot of creators, but unfortunately, most of those people are not genuine people. So they really do a lot of scams, and that does not stay for long because there's no value. Even when you create content, let it be genuine content. Don't create content to beg, because also I know for us African creators, we have a mentality, and if you go even on TikTok or YouTube, you see this of people will be saying, hey, I even saw this in one of the streams the other day. You need to send me money. You need to do this. Don't do that. Become the smart creators, Show people what you know. Show people what you can do. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're not an entrepreneur, if you're a corporate person, show people, share your insight. That's what gets people to hold your hands. That's what gets people to push you to the next level. Do you know what doesn't get people to help you? Is when you beg people. Don't do that. And is when you scam people. Don't do that. Otherwise, if you are a genuine person, if you enjoy what you do, if you have the persistence, you're going to grow. I can assure you that. And one day you'll say you've reached your first 100 subscribers, or 500, or even 1,000, or even you got monetized. Or even if you don't get there, someone will say, you inspired me. Right? Now, before I go, I was to give a snippet of this book. because I should be going. This is a book by Eric Ries. Let me show you front camera, guys. It's a very interesting book. It's called The Ring Startups, and you can see what people say it's called about how constant innovation creates radically successful businesses. And if you flip it at the back, you get to see what they're saying. Just try to adjust my camera. Sorry, guys, there is no power, so I can't really be able to share my screen. So they're saying, if you are an entrepreneur, read this book. If you are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, read this book. If you are just curious about entrepreneurship, read this book. You can imagine. It's very interesting. So if you are thinking, if you are one, or if you have, just read the book. And then someone says, most new businesses fail, but most of those failures are preventable. So, and then they say the lean startup is an approach to business being adopted around the world and is changing the way companies are built and new products are launched. And someone else says the lean startup is about learning what your customers really want. It's about testing your vision continuously, adopting and adjusting before it's too late. Now it's time to think lean. So let's get to go deeper of what they get to say. And I think I know Mark Anderson from Suite. And he also says, Eric Ries has created a science where previously there was only an art. A must read for every serious entrepreneur and every manager interested in innovation. So, story time, guys. It's a very good. Those are some of the things they get to talk about this book. So just read one page. If you guys are interested in the future, I'll create a stream of sharing the books that have shaped me, other than just the normal business book. So, what is the lean startup? And I'm just trying to look. And it's very interesting. They keep saying the same thing. There is a professor of entrepreneurship, and she's saying, Reese shows up how to cut through the fog of uncertainty that surrounds startups. His approach is rigorous. His prescriptions are practical, proven in the field. A lean startup should be more to boost global economic growth than any managed book written in years. It's unbelievable when someone says that. And, I mean, it's a good book. So what is it? Let's get to see the forward. Obviously, just one. Hanging there, just one, and listen, just one page, and then we go. So I'll show you the chicken. So he says, the lean startup isn't just about to create more successful entrepreneurial businesses. It's about what we can learn from those businesses to improve virtually everything we do. And he goes on to say, I ascertain lean startup principles apply to government programs, to healthcare, and to solving world greatest problems. It's ultimately an answer to the question, how can we learn more quickly what works and discuss what doesn't? I believe as an entrepreneur, sometimes it's way better, You learn way fast. It's like you want to learn to fail way faster. It's way better than failing slowly because you get to learn. Yeah, I see some very good interaction here from Drippy and Mr. Mate. Yeah, the live stream has been very insightful. Yeah, we just tried to, and I'm so happy you found it insightful. Thank you. We're just about to end it, but I'll only give like one page, just 1 minute, please. And I really love the session. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Mr. Mate. So, um, it certainly seems like it's a very big, good book whereby you can see it's being subdivided in various chapters, whereby the chapter one, they get to talk about how to start, how to define, how to learn and experiment. And then the second chapters, they get to talk about how to take a leap of faith, how to test, how to measure, and eventually how to pivot. So just one page, so you can get the gist, and then I'm gone, like gone, gone. And thanks so much for everyone who turned up. So on the introduction, I hope my mic is good. Sometimes I go offline. If you don't hear me, please say. On the introduction, he says, stop me if you've had this one before. Brilliant college kids sitting in a dorm are inventing the future, handless of boundaries, possessed of new technology and youthful enthusiasm. They build a new company from scratch. Their early success allows them to raise money and bring an amazing new product to market. They hire their friends, assemble a superstar team, and dare the world. Is the power. It should be. Let me see if this one is working. I think in the future I should be talking to you so that we get the perfect mic for this kind of setup. Someone is saying the sound is gone. I think we are back now. Yeah. In the future, we need those kind of like perfect mics I've seen in your studio. They're very good. So just one page and then we are done, guys. So Eric Ries goes on to say about this. And I feel it's also interesting for me just to be stuck on this first page. It doesn't make sense to go on, so I can possibly share my insight before I bounce. He says, 10 years and several startups ago, that was me building my first company. I particularly remember a moment from the back then, the moment I realized my company was going to fail. My co-founder and I were at wit's end. The dot-com bubble had burst. We had spent all our money. We tried desperately to raise more capital, and we could not. It was like a breakup scene from Hollywood movie. It was raining, and we were arguing in the street. We couldn't even agree on where to walk next. And so we parted in anger, heading in opposite directions, as a metaphor for a company's failure. This image is two of us, lost in the rain and drifting apart, is perfect. It remains a painful moment. No, it remains a painful memory. The company limped for a long months afterward, but our situation was hopeless. At the time, it seemed we were doing everything right. We had a great product, a brilliant team, amazing technology, and the right idea at the time. So, and we were really into something. And then this whereby he goes on and asks, um, but despite a promising idea, we were nonetheless doomed from day one because we did not know the process we would need to use to turn our product insights into a great company. And this is my favorite part. He goes on to say, if you have ever experienced a failure like this, it is hard to describe the feeling. It is as if the world were falling out from under you. You realize you have been duped. The stories in the magazine are lies. Hard work and perseverance don't lead to success. Even worse, the many promises you've made to employees, friends, and families are not going to come true. Everyone who thought of you were foolish for stepping out on your own will be proven right. Wow. That's all I know. That's on Hits Day. And this story is very interesting. So I'll just ensure I only finish the second page, and then if you like the stories, we can always come back possibly next week. And this is if you're joining for the first time, this is the Ring Startup by Eric Ries, a very amazing book. Let me know in the comment what you think. He goes on to say there it wasn't supposed to turn out that way. In the magazine and in the newspaper, in the blockbuster movies, and on countless blogs, we hear the mantra of successful entrepreneurs through determination, brilliance, great timing, and above all, a great product. You too can achieve fame and fortune. There is a myth-making industry hard at work to sell us that story. But I have come to believe that story is false. The product of selection bias and after the fact of rationalization. In fact, having worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs, I've seen firsthand how often a promising startup leads to failure. The grim reality is that most startups fail, most new products are not successful, most new ventures do not live up to their potential. Yet, the story of perseverance, creative genius, and hard work persist. Why is it so popular? I think there is something deeply appealing about this modern day rags to the riches story. It makes success seem inevitable if you just have the right stuff. It means that the mundane details, the boring stuff, the small individual choices don't matter. We build it, they will come.
When we fail, as so many of us do, we have a ready-made excuse. We didn't have the right stuff. We weren't visionary enough. Or we weren't in the right place at the right time. So, after more than 10 years as an entrepreneur, I came to reject that line of thinking. I have learned from both my own success and failures and those of many others that it is the boring stuff that matters the most. Success is not a consequence of good genes or being in the right place at the right time. Startup success can be engineered by following the right process, which means it can be learned, which means it can be taught. This is a very amazing book. This is amazing book. This is amazing book, guys. I now know which book to read. This is good. So this is the thing. Uh, and now I think I should create on Monday a startup for this book to read more of the synopsis for the same. Eric Ries goes on to talk about these nuance or the high stories of startups, of successful entrepreneurs. This is something I was telling my girl the other day. Sometimes I'm tired of LinkedIn because if you log to LinkedIn today, what you find on LinkedIn, it will make yourself hate yourself because you'll be like, it's like myself. I've been building a startup for the last 2 or 3 years and you're feeling stuck sometimes. But if you log to LinkedIn, the stories they sell to you is those high flying entrepreneurs who have made it, who have made raises, who have created this amazing product and who are going for vacations. If you go to Facebook, you get the Forex guys, right? The flashy bit. But this is the thing which is never discussed enough. Most of the startups being started today, they end up failing. They end up being invested a lot of talent, which means you have hired the right people. Someone is laughing. Please come on. Tell me what's that? It's because it's true. Forex guys are real. If you go to Facebook, I don't know, they try to sell a lifestyle, which again is just weird. I hope the Mulot boys don't come for me. So you have this situation whereby everything has been done right. The right team has been assembled. The right resources has been given. The amazing product have been launched, but still startups continue failing. So why is this that we are failing as entrepreneurs? And I mean we is even I included. Why is it? Because Eric Ries captures a very beautiful, well, not beautiful, but a very heartbreaking moment of that divorce, like being stuck or being stuck in the rain. And you could see how that breakup was going away. Trust me, founders breakups is the worst. So hope that one doesn't happen to anyone. So why is it, despite selling these gross stories on magazines of successful entrepreneurs, the flashy lifestyle, the startups continues to break, the startups continue to fail? Why is it are we failing? And this book, I think he's gonna talk about it. I know a bit what he talks about, but funny enough, I was given this book by my good friend. He's Josh from UK, actually from Scotland. I remember when I met Josh is we had gone to volunteer for Balloon Ventures in Kericho. And one of the stories, again, we were being referenced is one of the chapters on just here within the lean startup, because I think it's something which I've been adopted, and I've read this book once and I've also recommended to someone. I think I'll be reading it for the second time. So this is the deal. If you're interested to explore this book with me from next week, I'll be setting aside like 15 minutes towards the end of the day. Once I finish my work at the office, I'll be coming to look at it. So look for me, and hopefully we can learn why is it, especially on this part, why is it that when everything is being done right, why is it that the startups, he goes on to say, why is it that despite these stories of perseverance, creative genius, and the hard work, because if you're an entrepreneur in this stream, you'll agree with me that entrepreneurs are the most hardworking people out there. But why? Why, despite their creative genius, despite their hard work, they continue to fail? But obviously, why is again, you also ask a very critical question. Why is it so popular that today the modern day rat to riches stories have been popularized in our modern media? Why? But he also mentioned something which I remember I mentioned in my last week's stream on on what was it? On SIB. It's the boring stuff. He goes on to say it makes success seems inevitable if you just have the right stuff. It means that the mundane details, the boring stuff, the small individual choices don't matter. If we build, they will come. And I remember quoting that, but I still sometimes I think so. But well, he have an interesting. When we fail, as so many of us do, we have a ready-made excuse. Sometimes we feel we didn't have the right team, we didn't have the money. But why? Why is that the case? It's a very interesting book, and he's saying the most mundane details, the most boring stuff, at the end of the day, are what makes a difference. And I keep saying this as an entrepreneur. When you join this live stream, it's not going to be a huge live stream whereby we will crack a lot of jokes, maybe the dark ones for dark humor, which most people don't get them. Trust me, it's going to be a very boring conversation because business streams and personal development uh, like doesn't feel like it's an easy bit, but it's those boring stuff that we do, the most human being that we ignore, that can make the big difference. So I'll be love to read this book, but for now, allow me not to read one for the Sapiens, but someone says a forward just because someone had asked about it. This was from Mr. Surprisingly, this book was actually forwarded by former US President Barack Obama. And he says, an interesting and provocative, it gives you a sense of perspective on how briefly we have been on this earth. So, and it's very interesting. Someone say, fire gave us power. Farming made us hungry for more. Money gave us purpose. Science made us deadly. This is a thrilling account of our extraordinary history, from significant apes to the rulers of the world, jaw dropping from the first world to the last. Obviously, this is from Yuval. No, again, this was also a gift from one of my friend. Her name is Miriam. Should be Miriam. It's Miriam. So wherever you're watching Miriam, yeah, it's a very good thing, and it's funny. So this is what she wrote. Let me show you guys. because I'm very. This is what she wrote. See that? This is like it was very interesting. It's like signed by obviously, and then it was like heal whenever you stand, be the soul of that place. Remain. Enjoy the read. I hope you guys you can also start gifting your friends books, and you can see how beautifully this book looks like. Sapien: A Brief History of Humankind, and it's a gorgeous book. Obviously, I love the cover, and yep, it's a very beautiful. And on days from Yuval, he says, I encourage all of us, whatever our beliefs, to question the basic narrative of our world, to connect past development with the present concerns, and not to be afraid of controversial issues. He is, well, he has a PhD in history, so he is a very brainy and brilliant. And it's good because even from this you like he says art is about obviously by now we are more, by the time they were writing was like 4.5 actually it's still the same. Art is 4.5 billion years old. In just a fraction of time, one species among us, countless others, has conquered it. Us. What makes us brilliant? What makes us deadly? What makes us sapiens? In this bold and provocative book, Noah Harari explores who we are, how we got here, and where we are going. Sapien is a thrilling account of our history from insignificant apes to the rulers of the world. Hello, Dami the Scavenger. Hi, welcome to the stream. We were just about to end, and we were just looking. Someone had requested for me to let know what this book says about. So it's a very interesting book that is divided in different parts. You can see there is part one on tendings to talk about the cognitive revolution, part two about the agricultural revolution, part three about the unification of humankind, and obviously the scientific revolution, which we are in. Right now, we are talking about the age of artificial intelligence. I hope by now, if you've watched my stream, you get Dr. David Costa on artificial intelligence. He's a good salesman. So it's a very interesting book, and it's literally explore how from the very most of the times depending on what you believe on, it's whether you believe the world came from the Big Bang Theory or whether you believe the world was formed from the divine objectivity. It tends to revolve from the very first humankind, from the ape, what from the historical perspective, what really happened. So it's a good one. So this one is something I did read it briefly. So Miriam, don't say I never read your book. Thank you so much, but still keep it here because it's one of the book I cherish. And before you came on, we were looking at this book by Eric Ries. Is on startup, and we were trying to say which book we can read possibly from next week. So, but if you're new to the stream, I usually talk about anything entrepreneurial. Today was a little bit personal. I hope it makes sense. I know you're saying nice name. Thank you for joining us. Interesting. Anita is already liking you. Let me see the name. Thiami, is it the right spelling or pronunciation? Thiami or Thiami Scavenger. It's a very interesting, nice name. So guys, I'm leaving at 1:30. But in the next stream, which should happen in the next 5 minutes, I'll be in the farm. So today I'm giving you different perspective. One, from I wanted to use a very dark joke. It's not good. I usually keep saying from an employable graduate or from ungraduated professor. My mom's called me professor. I've no idea. I love reading books. It's just funny, guys. So I've got to go now. Join me in the next stream. I'm going to show you baby chicks. So don't go away. That one will only take like 15 minutes. Then because we are literally removing them from the hatchery. And thanks for everyone for joining in. Really appreciate. So if you watch this stream later on, please let me know. Should we read the Lean Startup or should we read the Sapiens from next week? Just 15 minutes a day. We don't need to discuss all things entrepreneurial sometimes. It can get boring, you know? Of course, we say it's the boring stuff that we need to do that makes the difference, but we also need to sharpen our mind. We also need to look at the history. We also need to look at ourselves. Where did we come from? What has made the evolution and what makes us sapiens? All right. See you on the other end, and thank you so much. And thanks for the love.